Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.
A sky-piercing howl shook all the windows in the pack house of the Dark Howler's pack, threatening to shatter them. The powerful sound echoed far into the distance, stirring every pack member with the might their alpha possessed.
Will Damon be okay?
Maya asked Caden while blinking at the dawn which cracked through the windows. They heard 4 rapid thumps when Damon landed in the garden after jumping from his balcony on the 3rd floor.
He will be fine,
Caden assured Maya and pulled her closer to him. The Border Patrol just notified Damon that they found Talia. Maya wanted to ask for more information, but Caden was snoring softly already, so she gave up. Normally, warriors and patrols can't contact Damon through the mind link. That is reserved for Caden, Maya, and Stephanie, and even those 3 knew not to disturb him unless it's important. Things related to warriors and security would reach Caden. Maya would be contacted on issues related to the pack members, and anything that involved the pack house would go to Stephanie. In this case, since Damon asked them to look for the girl, the patrol who found her contacted their supervisor. The supervisor notified Damon directly, and Caden was also included in the exchange. Damon ran through the forest, and he felt his muscles tensing to the point of aching, but he still kept on pushing. Normally, Damon enjoyed the feeling of his paws digging into the forest floor and the wind sweeping through his fur, but this time he was too focused on his destination. They told him that a girl matching the description he provided was found, and Damon felt the urgency to confirm that it was Talia. Damon's steps paused when he saw 4 werewolves in their wolf form standing nearby. Damon whipped his head to the left and a low growl escaped him when he saw Talia sitting on the ground with her back against the tree and her eyes closed. "Who was the first to find her?" Damon asked through the mind link grimly. "It was me. Alpha." "What did you do to the girl?" The warrior whimpered. "Nothing, Alpha." "What do you mean, nothing?" Damon raged, with his teeth dangerously close to the warrior's neck. "Why is she unconscious?" "She is sleeping," one of the other 3 warriors said, because the one under Damon was nearly paralyzed with fear. Damon snorted and glanced at Talia again. "You are dismissed," Damon said curtly. "Call off the search. The girl is found. I will take it from here." The 4 warriors slowly backed away with their heads lowered. Once they confirmed that they'd put enough distance between them and Damon, they swiftly disappeared among the trees. Damon sniffed the air to ensure no one was around before he slowly approached Talia. He couldn't believe that she just fell asleep. How careless! Doesn't she know how many guys saw her relaxed sleeping face? No one should see Talia like this with her guard down. No one. That's only for him to see. Talia was safe, and at that moment, nothing else mattered. Talia woke up in confusion. How did she find herself back in this room? Didn't she go into the forest? Talia remembered that she followed the invisible trail the plants created. She collected necessary ingredients for her to conceal her scent. And once she ingested that mixture, Talia continued exploring goodies that the forest provided. Talia didn't feel like returning to the pack house. She lost track of time, and she stopped only when her aching legs reminded her that she was walking for too long. The painkillers wore off, and her injuries were aching all over, and she sat next to a tree to rest a bit, but then she fell asleep. Talia had a weird dream. It was about a massive black wolf with icy blue eyes. Why would Alpha Damon bring her back while carrying her princess style? Alpha Damon! He told her not to go beyond the garden, yet she disobeyed him. She was definitely in trouble. Right. That was definitely a dream. Because if he found her for real, he would scold and punish her and not bring her back like a knight in shining armor. Talia blushed. In her dream, Alpha Damon didn't wear any armor. Yep. That was a dream. The only explanation that made sense was that Talia went into the forest and was so tired that she doesn't remember how she returned. But if that was a dream, Why did her room smell of the forest and dark chocolate again? It was not very fresh, but it was there, lingering in the air and in the cover, and some of it was in her pillow as well. Strange. Talia observed the room and saw a plate with bread and fruits, and there was some cheese also. Her stomach rumbled, and in response, Talia scooted out of the bed and went to attack the food. It was more than 24 hours since she ate last time, and everything else could wait. The bread was hard, but Talia didn't mind. She would squish a grape and use its juices to moisten the bread. It was good. Talia jolted when someone knocked on the door.
Yes?
She called apprehensively. The door cracked open, and Maya's smiling face peeked in.
This is the third time for me to check on you,
Maya said, and when she saw Talia's confused expression, she reminded her.
We are going shopping, remember? We can leave when you are done with food.
Maya frowned when she saw that Talia was eating hard bread.
Do you want me to bring you something else?
Talia didn't think about more food because what she had was enough. She pressed her lips into a line while thinking how to dodge shopping. She really didn't want to go outside this room, and shopping meant leaving not only the room, but the pack house as well. The people in the town would see her, and the ones working in stores as well. And there was a possibility that she might bump into Casey or Damon, and Talia didn't want any of it. Her eyes fell on her wrist that had a firm wrap with Velcro on it, and she got an idea.
I'm sorry, Maya, but I don't feel well.
Maya's smile fell. Should I call a doctor? A pang of guilt swelled in Talia's chest, but she kept on talking.
No need. It's just my injuries from before. As long as I rest, I will be fine.
Maya was not sure if Talia was really hurting, but she couldn't blame her for wanting some peace and quiet, and Maya definitely didn't want to call Talia out.
All right,
Maya said with a smile.
Take rest, and we can go when you feel better. There is a nice sweet shop in town, so when we are done with shopping, I will introduce you to the best lime pie in the world.
Talia's eyes sparkled and she nodded happily. If she knew that there would be pie involved, she wouldn't be so hasty to come up with an excuse.
Do you want to come downstairs to eat, or should I bring you something here?
Maya repeated her offer for food. Talia shook her head, rejecting the offer.
Don't trouble yourself for me. These are fine. I will wash up and rest.
By now, Maya understood that Talia preferred to stay low-key and not attract attention in any way. Maya didn't know what Talia went through, but seeing all the bruises and knowing that she lived in the attic told a heartbreaking story. Maya wanted to help Talia, but Talia was shrinking and closing in. A mate would be able to help her out the most because their bond draws the best in each other. But considering that the other person for Talia is Damon, he would only do more damage, and he already had.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.
Oh, before I forget,
Maya stirred the conversation the other way.
Don't tell anyone that you came from the Red Moon Pack. The official story states that you grew up with your grandparents somewhere north, and that after they passed, you came here with the goal to find a pack, and we bumped into each other accidentally. Do you remember the gas station where Alpha Damon went out to purchase snacks on his own? It's the stop where you switched places with Caden.
Talia nodded.
That's where we met. Feel free to fill in any gaps about your background.
Maya spoke and observed Talia, who listened intently with a hint of confusion on her face.
Do you know why this seems important?
Talia shook her head, indicating that she didn't.
If Alpha Edward suspects that we took you secretly, he might accuse us of kidnapping or stealing.
Talia's eyes widened.
I agreed to come with you. You did, but Alpha Edward doesn't maintain friendly terms with Alpha Damon, and he might use this incident to stir trouble.
Talia didn't understand. If they didn't maintain friendly terms, why would Alpha Damon marry Marcy? She told herself not to think about Damon and his complex marital life. He had one Luna called Casey, and he planned to marry Marcy, and she heard that numerous other she-wolves surrounded him. Talia didn't know that polygamy existed in these times. But no matter who warmed his bed, Alpha Damon brought Talia to the Dark Howlers pack, and she accepted without considering that it might have some consequences for him.
I didn't mean to make trouble for Alpha Damon or his pack. What should I do? You don't need to do anything, Talia.
Maya put her hand over Talia's and gave it a few reassuring gentle taps.
Trust in Alpha Damon. He knew what he did when he invited you to come. A possibility exists that nothing bad will happen. But just to stay on the safe side, if anyone asks about your background, don't mention the Red Moon Pack, okay?
After Maya left, Talia laid on her bed and stared at the ceiling while thinking about Maya's words and things that happened in the last few days. There existed a mixture of feelings Talia couldn't identify as anything other than uncertainty, which came with restlessness. She didn't know that her coming here could cause trouble for Alpha Damon or his pack. No one cared about her at the Red Moon Pack. It would take them some time to notice that bathrooms didn't get cleaned, but they would probably realize soon that trash cans didn't magically empty every night. But even if they noticed, no one would know it seemed Talia who went missing. They would think that some of the other Omegas slacked because Talia stayed practically invisible. Maybe Anna would miss a person to Billy, but that seemed it. They called her a slave, a roach, a rat. No one called her by her name since Olivia left, so they probably didn't know her name. And now that her hair looked neat and she wore decent clothes, even she would have difficulty recognizing herself. Princess Marcy knew that Talia stayed in the attic, but she returned to the pack recently, and she might think that Talia didn't stay there because she hid in the common rooms with Omegas. Someone of Marcy's status wouldn't lower herself to search for one lowly Omega. At least that's what Talia hoped for. But a chance existed that Omegas wouldn't pick up Talia's duties, and Luna Layla and Alpha Edward might find out that the woman from the attic went missing. If that happened, what would Alpha Edward do? Would he really cause issues for Alpha Damon? In that case, what would Alpha Damon do? Alpha Damon seemed eccentric, and Talia felt unsure if he represented a good person or not. But the fact that he took her with him from the Red Moon Pack, regardless of the risks, confused Talia. No matter what his personality seemed, she felt confident that if he needed to pick between his pack and her, he would discard her in a heartbeat. Why would he risk anything for her? She represented nobody. He represented an alpha, and he had the right to act and behave any way he wanted. His status allowed him to treat people based on his mood, and Talia found that nerve-wracking. One moment, he shared a bed with her, pressed her against him, applied medicine on her wounds, fed her, and then he looked at her like she seemed dirty while Casey accused her of stealing, and he did absolutely nothing. Actually, by staying silent, he supported the bully. That confirmed her theory that Alpha Damon extended his hand to help her, but if he needed to pick between her and someone more important, she would get left behind. Maybe Alpha Damon had an identical twin. One seemed kind and uncomfortably clingy, while the other seemed distant and heartless. That would explain Talia's interactions with Damon perfectly. But she knew that no second Damon existed. Only one existed, and he seemed extremely unstable. Talia firmly resolved to leave as soon as she could, and she didn't know where to go, but she felt confident that staying in this pack house didn't seem healthy. Talia didn't want to bump into Casey or Damon, but hiding in this room didn't seem practical. Even if no one chased her out, eventually hunger would force her to find food, and she didn't want anyone to accuse her of stealing again. More than beatings and name-calling, Talia felt hurt by injustice. She didn't steal. She only did what they told her seemed okay. And Stephanie said that no areas of the pack house stayed off limits, and that Talia could come to the kitchen and eat any time. Talia's eyes burned, but she refused to cry. Talia didn't represent a crybaby. Her current situation didn't look good, but Talia knew that she would come up with something as long as she calmed down and thought rationally.
She would take advantage of staying here until she healed, and by then, she would have a plan ready. Her current tasks: eat and sleep. She ate before showering, so now it seemed time to rest, and everything else would come later. Talia hugged a pillow and drifted off to sleep. Damon spent most of the day with his warriors, training. After last night's call to find Talia, Damon wanted to ensure that no gossips spread, and he knew that his presence would assure them how everything seemed fine. While sparring with his best warriors, Damon took his time to reflect on the events from last night. He didn't know if Talia just got lost or really planned to leave, but he knew that she went into the forest on her own, even though he told her not to. How dared she defy him? Ugh! A muffled cry reminded Damon that he sparred with a warrior, and he nearly choked him. Damon loosened his hold.
Good job. Keep on practicing. Next.
Damon went through the report in his head over and over again. He felt anxious to the point of madness because the search took so long. His warriors had amazing skills, not just in fighting, but in tracking as well. Yet no one managed to pick up Talia's scent. The patrol who found her nearly tripped on her. If they stood a few steps away, they would pass next to her. Damon concluded that if Talia didn't stop on her own, she could easily escape his grasp. Part of him felt curious about how that seemed possible, and part of him admired Talia's skills. But mostly, he felt dejected and frustrated because he came so close to losing her. Damn it! How could one woman escape his pack house and avoid so many patrols like it seemed nothing? Ah! A cry pulled Damon out of his thoughts, and he realized that he dislocated the shoulder of his sparring partner. Damon glanced to the side.
Medic, get him out of here. Next.
Warriors usually felt eager to take pointers from their alpha, but today they felt reluctant to get on the mat with him. Something seemed off. Unaware of the wary gazes of his warriors, Damon continued sparring with his next victim. Cough, cough. With his next partner, while his mind stuck on the woman with copper-colored hair. Damon couldn't believe that he felt anxious while thinking about Talia's safety. Yet he found her sleeping in the forest like everything seemed fine. He felt confident that Talia sent him a message, how she couldn't get controlled or manipulated. He had no intention of controlling her, but he needed her to stay close, in the visible range, preferably in touching distance. Damon felt infuriated. From the moment he saw Talia in the forest, he wanted to teach her a lesson in obedience. No one defied him and got away with it. No one. But he couldn't bring himself wake her up. She slept so peacefully in his arms, and she even rubbed her cheek on his chest. The sparks made him dizzy, and he exhaled helplessly. And then he placed her on the bed and covered her up, and he sat next to Talia while holding her hand until late morning.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.
Pocket FM. To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.